Hi, everyone. Welcome to English 1302. A couple of quick topics. If you're in my online class, you do have a quiz this Thursday, November the 7th. It's over the poetry unit, so you'll need to know those poetry vocabulary words, plus those first 5 poems from the various authors. And then I think we had 9 or 10 from Robert Frost. Uh, the easiest way to prepare for this quiz, 25 questions, 2 points apiece, multiple choice, is to learn the vocabulary words and then just read the poems a couple of times. Read the poems out loud, read them silently, read them to somebody else, read them to your dog, but just go over them and learn to recognize main ideas. What I really want to talk to you about today is, of course, the R3 research paper. It's a big part of your grade this semester, and I want you guys to do well. There's one particular aspect of the paper that you're going to need to focus on, and that, of course, is source evaluation. We are swimming in an ocean of information. There's just too much information out there. So, as a college student, as a researcher, you have to become a good consumer of the information. You have to learn to evaluate which sources are credible and which are not. Now, of course, when we say credible, we're talking about specifically about college level academic scholarly research. And so we apply slightly different criteria. I've posted a PowerPoint for you called Blueprint to Success, and it will go over a lot of these same ideas. But one of the things you want to look at for all of your sources is, of course, well, there's 4 criteria: timeliness, authority, depth, and citation. Timeliness means how old is it? It could be really good, but if it was published 20 or 30, 40 years ago, it's out of date. You want to look at when the source was published in relation to how current your topic is. And your topic is a very current topic. Higher education is a fascinating topic, and you probably know that college students are among some of the most studied groups of people on the planet. College professors have to do research, and often it's easy to research either their students or students on their campus or other students around the state. So yeah, so a lot of researchers will study some aspect of students or higher education. And higher education itself, the institutions, their histories, their traditions, their autonomy, their structure, it's all just there's a lot there, and I often feel like it's overlooked. So I hope this would be a good topic for you. So anyway, back to your sources. You want to evaluate them on timeliness. You want to look at how old they are. Usually about 5 years is as far back you want to go. Now, some of them maybe 10, but probably no more than that. You also want to look at authority. Now, the first question is, does it have an author? If there's no author, then automatically it has no authority. But assume your paper has an author, and in some fields like science and engineering, um, a book or a paper will list, 10 or 12, 30 different authors. In the field of education, we really don't do that. Most works have one or maybe two authors, and so you don't want a whole string of authors after um, in your citation. You want really just one author, and you want someone who's well known in his field, his or her field. And the way you judge that is by how many other works have they published. Now, I'm not saying that an author's first work can't be important. Oftentimes it is. But if they have published several times in the same field, that's a good sign. Depth. You don't want a pamphlet or a newspaper article or something that's just too short to provide enough information to go on. You want something that's like the length of a book or the length of a professional journal article, 20 or 30 pages. And so look to make sure it's long enough to cover the topic that you're looking at. And of course, citations. You can either look at, is it cited by other authors, this particular work, or does the work itself cite other sources? Either one is fine, but without citations, if your source is not quoting somebody, or if somebody's not quoting your source, then it's probably just somebody's opinion. Accordingly, you're going to want to avoid things like blogs or videos. Interviews are kind of iffy. Anything that is too personal, too opinionated, too biased, or something that's intended for a mass audience. I had several people quote Forbes magazine last time, and Forbes is not a good source. It's intended for a broad audience, and you want something intended for a very narrow academic audience. Okay, so make sure all of your sources, and I think you're only allowed to have what, three? Is that right? Yeah, three sources, not two, not four, three sources, but make sure all three meet all four of those criteria. Now, there's a very simple way to do this. As you know what a search engine is. Google is the big one out there, but there are also search engines which are focused on one particular aspect of the internet. And academic research engines include stuff like Google Scholar or Microsoft Academic or RefSeek or Journ, or there's like 15 of them. I like Google Scholar because Google Scholar will tell you when it's published, the number of citations it contains. It will give you a short summary right there when it first pops up on your list of hits. And it tells you everything you need to know just right there on the first screen. So you don't have to click on it or go into it just to find out if it meets those four criteria. Occasionally, you'll find a good source that has a paywall. Please don't pay for anything. College is already expensive enough, so don't be buying anything for this project. But remember, if you find a source that looks really, really promising to you, you may not have to pay for it. Sometimes our library can get access for you, or sometimes, remember, you only need one sentence or two sentences from the entire work. So sometimes just an abstract or a summary or an introduction or a conclusion or just like a sample page from chapter one is really all you need. So anyway, be sure that you have three sources. Be sure each source meets all four criteria. Now, you're going to organize your thoughts into paragraphs. Of course, you'll have an introduction which has the thesis, and we'll talk more about that later. But each body paragraph needs a short, direct quote, which is a verbatim transcript of what someone else has said or written, and then followed by the citation. Now, the citation has just the author's last name and the page number. That's it, nothing else. Just Smith 112. No comma, no period, no page number. No, you don't have the title of the journal, nothing. Just the author's last name, the page number. Everything else is on the works cited page. And again, I'll post another sample up for you, although there's already one up. I'll post another sample up for you. And if we get a chance, we'll do another video. So take your time, start working now. I know the end of the semester is a crazy time, but the closer we get to the end, the busier it's going to be. And I know this is not due till November 25th, but that'll be here before you know it. So get started, work through the process. When you have questions, drop me an email.